All right, y'all, back with another video. Now, apparently, this is the full clip of Amber Heard's NBC News exclusive interview post trial. And from what I heard, oh man, she just doubles, triples, quadruples down on stupid. Now, I haven't watched this full clip yet. All I saw was the previews that NBC has put out previously, like in my last video. So here it is, everybody, the full, or what seems like the full interview. Let's get right into it. Oh man, I think this is going to be a wild one, y'all.
How could it? It's real and difficult. In part, yes. This has been a long time coming.
Do you stand by your testimony and your accusations against Johnny Depp about abuse?
Of course, to my dying day, will stand by every word of my testimony. I think vast majority of this trial was played out on social media. I think that this trial...
Oh man, the look on her face is like, look at her. She's got that even I don't believe face. Like, just get a good look at that. Look how she kind of leans back a little bit, her head kind of tilts to the side, and her eyeballs kind of like, really? Like, And of course she stands on, Johnny, what she said about Johnny Depp in the trial. But at the end of the day, you still lost. You lied, you tried to lie and scheme and play crocodile tears, and it just did not work out for you.
Is an example of that gone haywire, gone amok. And the jury is not immune to that.
You think the jury saw it?
How could they not? I think even the most well-intentioned juror, it would have been impossible to avoid this. Every single day I passed for 3, 4, sometimes 6 blocks, city blocks lined with people holding signs saying, "Burn the witch," "Death to Amber." After 3.5 weeks, I took the stand and saw just a courtroom packed full of Captain Jack Sparrow fans who were vocal.
Yeah, because you're trying to throw shade on his name. It was proven that you lied about the whole thing.
Vocal, energized.
Can you put into words how that felt?
This was the most humiliating and horrible thing I've ever been through. I have never felt more removed from my own humanity.
Now you know how most men feel when women lie on them about certain things that they've done to them. Because guess what? They have their lives taken away from them and they can't get that back. She's getting a taste of what that's like, y'all. And by the look on her face and by the way she's expressing herself right now, she just can't handle the fact that she took this massive L.
I felt less than human.
Let's go back to the day of the verdict. Were you feeling confident?
There's the pan.
That's a great question.
No, she did not feel confident at all.
I wish I could say yes to that. I want to say yes to you, but it wouldn't be true. Even if you think that I'm lying, you still couldn't look me in the eye and tell me that you think on social media there's been a fair representation. There was another trial.
It's funny how she uses fair representation when she used the court of public opinion to smear Johnny Depp's name. She doesn't want to talk about that, though.
Handled it dealt with the same substantive issues that had even more evidence in. In fact, my evidence was largely kept out. Really important pieces of evidence kept out. Done differently, handled differently by a judge instead of a jury.
Some evidence is admissible in a UK court that is not admissible in a US court. Do you think that maybe he just had better lawyers?
I will say his lawyers did certainly a better job of distracting the jury from the real issues.
For some people, they just were frankly disgusted by the whole thing and don't have much sympathy for either one of you. Can you understand that?
Absolutely. I would not blame the average person for looking at this and how it's been covered and not think that it is Hollywood brats at their worst.
That's kind of how it was. I mean, the whole relationship between the two of them was it was just a horrible relationship. Two people that probably should have never crossed paths ever.
But what people don't understand is it's actually so much bigger than that. This is not only about our First Amendment right to speak.
But here's the thing about the First Amendment. The First Amendment protects free speech. It doesn't protect lies that amount to defamation.
Which is exactly what Miss Heard did to Johnny several years ago. When she had all that going in her favor, she wasn't mad. Now that she lost, she wants to be like, well, I don't think my First Amendment rights were protected. Shut up. Just stop.
And that was the issue in the case.
Yes, exactly. You can't go into the free speech does not protect you if you go into a crowded theater and you scream fire. We get the concept of free speech from the Greeks. My understanding of what that means is not just the freedom to speak. It's a freedom to speak truth to power.
No, it's freedom to speak her version of the truth so she can gain power. Don't fall for that, y'all.
The truth is the word.
Yes.
And that was the issue.
And that's all I spoke. And I spoke.
BS. She did not tell the truth at all. She even admitted to lying about no.
Spoke it to power, and I paid the price.
In the closing arguments, the Depp lawyer called your testimony the performance of a lifetime and said you were acting.
She wasn't lying.
What do you say to that?
Says the lawyer for the man who convinced the world he had scissors for fingers. I'm the performer. I had listened to weeks.
Yes, you're the performer because... Do I need to say it again? She lied about making all those articles, smeared his name about him being abusive towards her. But now that someone's calling her bluff, she's the victim now. You can't make this shit up, y'all.
Of testimony, insinuating that or saying quite directly that, I'm a terrible actress. So I'm a bit confused how I could be both.
The Depp team argued that you were the abuser, that you instigated physical violence. Did you?
I never had to instigate it.
You did instigate it. It was on the audio clip that went viral on the internet not too long ago.
Bonded to it. When you're living in violence and it becomes normal, as I testified to, you have to adapt.
You say you were responding, but there is
She even admitted that even if Johnny were to tell his side of the story, no one would believe him. Come on, it was clear as day if you listen to that audio clip that was out a few years back. She was the one who instigated the whole thing and caused him to bug out. And even told him, no one will believe you.
Evidence. There are tapes in which you acknowledge hitting. There are tapes in which you say, I started the fight.
I know much has been made of these audio tapes. They were first leaked online after being edited. What you would hear in those clips are not evidence of what was happening. It was evidence of a negotiation of how to talk about that.
A negotiation? If you listen to that audio clip, it does not sound like a negotiation. That sounded like a full-blown argument. Even of him saying, Johnny was saying, I think, he didn't want her to tell him what it's like to be punched. He was punching him and all that. Just stop. I told y'all in my last video, this is going to be a huge shit show. And by the looks of this, she just can't stop trying to make herself out to be the victim. She's not a victim in this situation at all. At least that's how I look at it. But y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments below.
With your abuser.
But I am looking at a transcript that says, he says, you start physical fights, and you say, I did start a physical fight. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. I mean, this is in black and white. I understand context. But you're testifying and you're telling me today, I never started a physical fight. And here you are on tape saying you did.
Oh, here's the interviewer. She's calling Amber's bluff. Oh man, let's see what she has to
As I
say.
testified on the stand about this, is that when your life is at risk, not only will you take the blame for things that you shouldn't take the blame for, but when you're in an abusive dynamic, psychologically, emotionally, and physically, you don't have the resources that, say, you or I do, with the luxury of saying, hey, this is black and white, because it's anything but when you're living in it.
But then there are
Okay, she was filibustering right there. I mean, it's on paper and on screenshot messages that you said this. Yes, you said that you said that you started this. You said that you did this A, B, and C. Like, and she's still trying to slick deny that she even said those things. She really wants people to believe that she was not wrong. Miss Heard, you were wrong this entire time.
or other times, there's another tape where you're taunting him and saying, oh, tell the world, Johnny Depp, I, a man, am the victim of domestic violence.
20-second clips or the transcripts of them are not representative of even the 2 hours or the 3 hours that those clips are excerpt from.
Could your side have just put the whole 3 hours in then?
I'm not a lawyer, as I testified to.
That could have been a simple yes right there. If what she's saying is true, yeah. They could have put, if it was several hours that were missing, they could have just put it all out there to get the full context. But that did not happen, clearly.
I was talking in those recordings as a person in extreme amount of emotional, psychological, and physical distress.
He
And
says
it
he
doesn't-
never hit you.
He can't-
Never. Is
Yeah.
that a lie?
Yes, it is.
What about the witnesses who said they
Wow.
have seen you instigate physical violence?
I've seen firsthand how people will file rank and support the person they depend on.
Did they all come in and lie in court?
I am not here to call any of his witnesses any names. I'm here to just kind of talk about it from what it felt like for me as a person who...
Basically, in other words, she wanted to go up there and tell her truth and have everyone believe her truth, even if it's a lie. Like, she's really trying to push her whatever privilege she even has left at this point to try to sway the opinion of most people. It's not going to work at all.
sat there.
When I asked his lawyers, why do you think you won? And the answer I got was because she never took responsibility for anything she did in the marriage.
I did do and say horrible, regrettable things throughout my relationship. I behaved in horrible, almost unrecognizable to myself ways. I have so much regret.
You messed up big time, and now the whole world got to see it. Now you're trying to clean the mess you've made, and you can't clean it up because it will forever be a stain on your name, your brand, the rest of your acting career if you still have one.
I freely and openly and voluntarily talked about what I did. I talked about the horrible language. I talked about being pushed to the extent where I didn't even know the difference between, right and wrong. I will always continue to feel like I was a part of this, like I was the other half of this relationship, because I was. And it was ugly and could be very beautiful. It was very, very toxic. We were awful to each other. I made a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, like running a smear campaign, trying to ruin Johnny Depp's career, which it was working at first until the truth came out. And then those companies who were turning their back on Johnny Depp were starting to look bad because of everything that you said, Ms. Heard. Everything that you said. I'm just glad the world got to see you for who you really are.
A lot of mistakes, but I've always told the truth.
There's a text message where Johnny promises total global humiliation for you. Do you feel like that came true?
Oh, here come the crocodile tears, y'all.
I know he promised it. I testified to this. I'm not a good victim. I get it. I'm not a likable victim. I'm not a perfect victim, but
You're not a victim of anything except you being stupid as hell. Like, seriously. Of you getting caught up in your own lies and you believing your own lies and trying to get the whole world to believe your lies.
When I testified, I asked the jury to just see me as human and hear his own words, which is a promise to do this. It feels as though he has.
Having been found liable, are you nervous as we are here today about what you can say now?
Of course, I took for granted what I assumed was my right to speak.
Do you feel like you could be sued again by him for defamation?
I'm scared that no matter what I do, no matter what I say or how I say it, every step that I take will present another opportunity for this sort of...
Well, when you spread lies and get caught, what do you think is going to happen? And plus, you're practically broke right now from spending all your money on lawyer fees, court fees, or whatever fees you have to pay, and then you still got to pay Johnny several $1 million. All because you lied.
silencing, which is what I guess a defamation lawsuit is meant to do. It's meant to take your voice.
Life had seemingly moved on, and you decide to write an op-ed. Why did you do that?
Because op-ed wasn't about my relationship with Johnny.
But it alluded to him. It was unmistakable.
You know, what the op-ed was about was, me loaning my voice to a bigger cultural conversation that we were having at the time.
Did you worry? Gosh, I'd love to be a person weighing in on these cultural issues, but that's going to stir this all up again.
I obviously knew it was important for me not to make it about him or to do anything like defame him. I had lawyers, team.
You did defame him. Oh, man. You didn't mean to do it. Yes, you did. You were mad, you was in the moment, and then you wanted to make sure he suffered for whatever you claimed he did to you. Stop it.
Tons of lawyers review all the drafts of this.
When you wrote this op-ed, it was the height of Me Too. Legions of powerful men being canceled, losing their jobs. Did you want that to happen to Johnny Depp?
Of course not.
Yes, you did. She's capping so hard in this interview. It's not even funny. Like, I can't even laugh at this. She is still being this dishonest. Apparently, she didn't learn anything from the trial at all, if you ask me. But let me know what y'all think down below. You think Amber has learned anything from this whole situation?
Of course not. It wasn't about him. This was a hoax, according to his team. Why didn't I cooperate with the police? As I've testified before, and I will stand by until my dying day, I didn't want to cooperate with them. I didn't want this to be out. I didn't want this to be known. I didn't want to cooperate with them because I didn't want this to be, I didn't want to get him in trouble. If it was,
You didn't want to get him in trouble, but he got in trouble anyway. She really believes what she's saying out of her own mouth right now. There's nothing you can do. There's nothing she can do to cover her ass at this point, because no one's going to believe anything she says.
it was a hoax, I could have done that.
But 5 days later, you went to court and it came out.
5 days later, I made the decision to stand up for myself and protect myself. You can't get a restraining order in private, which of course I didn't understand the night when the cops were called.
An employee of TMZ testified at court and said that TMZ was tipped off about when you were going to be going to the courthouse and on what side of your face bruises would be apparent. Did you tip off TMZ?
I was going to say, he certainly didn't get tipped off by me or anyone in my...
tip off TMZ?
Why would they? No.
You asked no one to do that.
As I testified to before, it had nothing to do with me.
They're different.
Yeah, lying again. How would they know what side of your face is going to have bruises on it and all this other information? Someone in her camp had to have told them. So I don't know who. If y'all in the comments know who it is, like, please, I would like to know myself.
Incidents that you testified to, and the DEP legal team would put up pictures of you publicly right after that or in the days following and saying that why are there no bruises?
Again, it's that thing. If you have bruising, if you have injuries, it's fake. If you don't have any, then you weren't injured.
You had promised to donate the $7 million of your divorce settlement.
Oh, here we go. Here we go, y'all.
To charity. It was revealed at trial that you haven't done so yet. However, they played a tape where you stayed on the air that you have donated it. Do you think that raised questions as to your credibility with the jury?
Yeah, it does raise credibility, or totally just puts the axe to her credibility, because she was supposed to donate that money and didn't do it. It was proven in court that she didn't do it. And got caught trying to lie about doing it, saying it was well, I'll let her say it.
I made a pledge. And
yeah, that's the word I was looking for. A pledge. And then she goes back and forth using pledge, donation. Like, come on. Which is it?
And that pledge is made over time by its nature. And
when you say I donated, you know that everybody thinks that you've donated it, not that you've pledged it. So for the jurors sitting there, do you think they felt like that was you getting caught in a lie?
I don't know, because so much of the, I feel like so much of the trial.
I feel like so much of the, you feel, what do you know? That's the question.
I was meant to cast aspersions on who I am as a human, my credibility, to call me a liar in every way you can. And
that was the trial. It was a credibility contest. And that was it.
This is another one of the examples where if you pull back and you think about it, I shouldn't have to have donated it in an effort to be believed. I shouldn't have had to earmark the entirety of that in order to have.
You shouldn't have, but once you said you did.
Right, which is where it was intended.
Boom. You said you did it, but you didn't do it. What's that called? A lie.
To go.
How do you see your future now?
I get to be a mom, like, full time, you know, where I'm not having to juggle.
I feel bad for that kid. Seriously.
Calls with lawyers.
One day you may want to tell your daughter about this, or have to tell your daughter about everything that you've gone through. What would you want to say?
I think no matter what, it will mean something. I did the right thing. I did everything I could to stand up for myself and the truth.
On the first day of the trial, you issued a statement, and part of the statement said, I still have love for Johnny.
Yes.
Is that still true?
Yes.
Bull. She does not still have love for Johnny. Get out of here.
After everything.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love him. I loved him with all my heart. And I tried the best I could to make a deeply broken relationship work.
No.
And I couldn't. I have no bad feelings or ill will towards him at all. I know that might be hard to understand, or it might be really easy to understand. If you've just ever loved anyone, it should be easy.
All right, y'all. That there was one hell of a shit show, if you ask me, because, oh man, she still loves Johnny. Like, seriously? No, you don't. You spent money and time and made all those smear campaigns, those articles like throwing salt on his name. You don't love this man. Just stop. But my final thoughts on this is, Miss Heard, no one's gonna believe what a word you're saying. It's your career is basically over. You'll probably get some good D-list, maybe acting roles at best. And your daughter, I feel bad for her that now she has to grow up with her mother, who's known for being a liar and under oath too, trying to smear a man's name. Oh man, it's exactly how I pictured it in my last video, man. This is one big shit show. That's all that interview was. But anyways, that's all I got to say about that. Let me know what you think in the comments. What do you think about what Amber Heard said? Let's talk about it down below. Make sure you guys subscribe if you're new and like the video. I really appreciate it. See you next time. Peace.